Greetings, everyone. Christina Wolf here, and I apologize for the delay. I had some technical difficulties. My computer decided it was the perfect time to do a scan, and I apologize for that. So I will say thank you for you guys being flexible this week, because I had a lot of training this week, and it was pretty intense over the weekend. And so I'm going to just see if anybody pops on here. And I'm going to message you guys and remind y'all. And hope everybody is well. Hello, Kimberly. How are you doing? So glad you could be here. Would you like a card? Let me know. And if so, which kind of card? The animal card or the herbal tarot card? I will be happy to do whichever one you'd like. So, because this weekend was a little crazy and I didn't get a chance to really kind of recover, I'm hoping that when, we all kind of come on, I feel the need to do some grounding. Oh, you're recovering from surgery. Oh, I hope you are on the mend quickly and you're feeling okay. I know that can be crazy. Hopefully it was a surgery that made you feel a lot better. I can appreciate that. Hey, Chris, how are you? Welcome. So I need to, I wanted to update you guys on a couple of things. Chris, if you'd like a card, let me know. And I got you down, Kimberly, for an herbal card. How was your full moon experience this past weekend? I have no idea why. Actually, I think I have an idea why. Because I did my natal chart finally in astrology, and for some reason, Jupiter was in Scorpio when I was born, and so I guess I'm really attuned to that energy. And of course, this full moon in Scorpio, and I'm a Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. I was really feeling that energy, this need to process some really crazy deep stuff. And that's really in line with, I feel like the work I was called to do about this healing early childhood trauma. Okay, wonderful. I got you down for animal, Chris. And so, anyways, not to get off on too much of a tangent, but I was like really curious why I was so called to do so much around this latest full moon. And one thing I wanted to mention is just because the full moon passed, this entire past week might have been feeling the residual effects of any releasing that you did. So let's say you did your releasing ceremony, or however you did it. Even if you frankly didn't do it cognitively or intentionally, the moon kind of helps take care of that energy for you. And I'm in particular affected really by a lot of moon energy. It makes me really antsy. And well, anyways, it's kind of like giving birth. It's kind of like, just the way the whole menstrual cycle works, the moon cycle. It may start or begin at a crescendo at the full moon, but it may have residual effects and, may have dwindled off. So let's say you said, I'm releasing these really powerful, deep emotions I didn't know I had, but it may come out later on a little, after you thought, I thought I already dealt with that. But it's just the effects of you've set your intentions to release these emotions, and it's going to come out. So this week I had some just really wish I'd had more time to journal it out, and I need to do that because I'm really finding that that's necessary to get in tune with how you're feeling and purge. So if you don't journal, I highly recommend it, and especially do the 5-day challenge that I'm doing, or I have posted in my Facebook group. It's the pinned post, create sacred daily practices. One of those things is to journal out and to ask yourself on a regular basis, what do I need right now? And at what, percentage of energy am I at? And just this daily check-in can be really helpful to how you feel. And I wanted to point out too that there's really just a lot of beautiful energy that shifts into, like, of course my moon is in Taurus in my natal chart. And I was never really totally sold on astrology until I realized, hey, I'm really attuned to how I'm feeling about something, and then everything in astrology actually confirmed what was going on. So for example, if I was feeling really angry or needed to really get something out, and then, oh, it's the full moon in Scorpio, that makes perfect sense to me. So I started paying a lot more attention to what the planets are doing. And it may seem like a real new agey kind of thing, but really all it is the study of patterns, the study of energy patterns, and the physical pull of these. It's far more than that. It's like the mysteries of the universe as well. But I really love it because it gives me structure to an abstract, sense of our energy. And it does have a profound effect on us, just like the tide does. The moon has a profound effect on the tide on the planet. And so just some notable things coming up in the next couple of days. This will be, about 8 days from now, but just preparing for it. Another moon cycle on May 15th. The new moon will be in Taurus. And why is this significant? Well, Taurus has a lot more grounding energy, but at the same time, Taurus is all about surprise. So be prepared for, to me, the moon in Taurus always is about pleasant surprises. Because, I was born under the moon in Taurus, and of course, I consider myself a pleasant surprise. But really, it's one of the most earthy signs, and it's noted for its connection to the earth and fixed things that have to do with permanence and solid, dependable things you can count on, things you hope you can count on. And yes, like my beautiful friend Chris is a Taurus. And let me check. Oh, hi Debbie, welcome. And Chris made the tea. So you like the tea, but Rusty didn't. That's kind of been the way for me lately. Like I like something and Floyd, my partner, does not. So we've really butted heads quite a bit. But to get into this, let's expand even more on astrology. The age of Aquarius, as opposed to the age of Pisces, which is what we're just engaged in for the last 2,000 years. In fact, the age of Aquarius, I think, does not even officially start for a couple more years. But the age of Aquarius basically shifts the way we evolve from within as the individual in a very solitary way to evolving our souls and our energy through relationship to others. And that's why I think it's so amazing that Aries, Chiron's transitioned into Aries right during the time that we'll shift into the age of Aquarius, because Chiron and Aries is all about your identity, who you are, who you think you are. And there's one more big shift that we're going to have coming up on the 15th. There's not only the new moon in Taurus, but Uranus will be transitioning into Taurus as well. And Uranus has not been in Taurus since 1934, I think. And Uranus is one of those planets that changes us profoundly, changes our identity profoundly. So, and when it's in Taurus, There's a lot of feelings around rapid change. Things you were hoping wouldn't change, or like really are a fixture in your life, changing completely and coming at us as a surprise. And this might not be a bad thing. This isn't a bad thing. You know, think about like the mysteries of the universe. You know, there's something in your life that you're just like, oh, that's just the way it is. It's never going to change. But out of nowhere, during this time, and it will be for an extensive period of time. I think we're going to be, Uranus will be in Taurus until like 2026. So lots of big changes. And they may be for the better, related to our identity, who we are as a society. Think about some big fixtures in society that we don't necessarily want to let go of, but when we do, we're like, wow, why didn't we do that sooner? That's coming up. And then there's one other little piece that I'm sure this has been coming up as a theme for me all week. And I'm sure that the moon, the stars, whatever, I'll find something to confirm why this is, maybe in an upcoming card pull party, which will be on Mother's Day. So I'll still be here with you guys. This coming Sunday, we'll resume our normal 5 p.m. on Sundays time. So, but the theme that I wanted to just mention before I get into the card pull party is this sense of, if there's a saying in Buddhism, and I don't know if it's actually attributed to, people attribute a lot of things to Buddha that he didn't actually say, but there's a saying that I've heard multiple times attributed to Buddha is, I am not what you think I am, you are what you think I am. And I really love that, because it's kind of basically saying that what you perceive in others is really just a mirrored reflection of you. And so one of the things that had been coming up for me, and I think it's a theme for a lot of people, is maybe the inability to see how you are affecting other people. Because I had noticed on more than one occasion, several people around me having a very profound effect with their behavior on the people around them, in having no earthly idea how they were coming across, like in complete denial about, I'll give a good example. I have this one judge that I work for, and she's perceived a certain way as, you know, being somewhat, I guess, I don't want to say cantankerous, but she's completely unaware of how her perceived effect is on other people. And so I had noticed this theme in other people, you know, in a few other people, and I was like, why is this theme showing up for me? And I think that spirit likes to do that to us. They like if somebody's starting to irritate you, or you feel like judgy, or you feel like a theme is popping up, there's something there for you. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to and allow yourself to be humbled, and just maybe take that bird's eye view and step back and go, this is showing up in my life for a reason. And so I'll give you another perfect example. Okay, so you may have had a lot of interpersonal conflict this week because you're working out some really personal, you know, inner demons, essentially, and there's for lack of a better term, you have to be kind of selfish to do that. You have to say, you know, I really can't worry about your needs right now while I'm working this out, or it just sort of happens as an after effect, because I'm so immersed in my own crap. But eventually you come out of it, right? And so I was in that energy this week with my partner and, you know, Floyd, and there were multiple times where I felt like I was being wronged by him and his behavior over something petty. And it turned around from his perspective was I was being petty or wronging him. And so it's just a reminder that it's all a subjective, it's subjective energy. It really is. And that the one big thing that keeps coming up is just the way we evolve and heal our soul is through relationships with others. We're not going to be able to be like, nope, I'm leaving and don't call me anymore because I'm fed up with you. Because that won't heal you. What heals you is sticking it out. What heals you is working through the discomfort of your shadow and still being seen in your shadow, if that makes sense. So I just feel really called like to mention that this week. So after you had all this crazy dark crap come up, or you even invited it and it didn't quite show up yet and it's still coming out a little bit, just know like that it's really important to know you can be seen in your shadow self, and that it's a good thing because it's all part of you. It's all part of you. So I've been sitting here shuffling the cards for the last 20 minutes as I started super late, and thank you guys for staying on and accommodating this different time. I didn't want to go a whole another week without stopping in and doing a card pull reading. So if anybody else has popped on and would like a card, either an herbal tarot card or the animal card, let me know and I'll pull that for you. Yeah, I think there's one last final thought I feel inclined to mention. It's this concept of sacred space, how you intentionally set sacred space for certain things. You set sacred space when you decide, this is my relationship, and in this relationship, this is how I want to be, and I do it with intention. You set sacred space when you call in the 4 directions and decide that that's where you allow spirit to do the work for you. You know, you're a co-creator in this universe, but I absolutely respect and love the idea that, yes, half of creation is my intention, and the other half is God's will and divine will, and there's so many miracles in that. And so that's kind of the energy I'm feeling this week. It's a lot of releasing and clearing and still processing. Don't forget to allow yourself to assimilate and process, and give yourself some implementation time. So, one last little thing I wanted to mention about that big shift from Uranus in Taurus. If it's something like a major quick shift, it may not be something bad. It may be you now have decided after all your hard work that, like, you know what, I'm tired of being out of shape and, you know, not in, you know, the right body composition that I want. So I'm going to start working out. And so you now look at yourself in a different aspect, and this becomes a more permanent fixture for you. But it's a very sudden thing. Like, you might have a sudden new epiphany about who you think you are. Because remember that Chiron, Aries and Chiron is all about the wound of identity, who you think you are. And when you heal a lot of old wounds, you step into a new way of being. You can step into being in a place that you never thought you would be. And so that's really important. Like, I just think in a very tangible way, many of us, like that movie I Feel Pretty, we don't have to change really to have a very profound shift. If you guys know what I'm talking about, it's the new Amy Schumer movie where she gets hit on her head at spin class, and then, like, instead of feeling very bad about herself and having low self-esteem and thinking she's unattractive, she cracks her head on this wheel at spin class and just feels like the most confident, attractive woman ever. And I think it's that sort of wound of identity that this Chiron and Aries is talking about. There's other many, many layers, but it's like a very personal one. Like, because I was never the pretty girl, I never got the relationship I wanted. But now you're like, No, I suddenly identify finally with being the pretty girl inside. And so now I can have the relationship that I want come to a reality. It's that shift that they're talking about with Uranus in Taurus. Like, for the longest time, you always thought, nope, I'm the fat, frumpy friend. I'll never have the type of life I want, or whatever other limiting belief you had. And suddenly that could shift amazingly. Maybe you get with somebody who sees you as just like exactly as you are, the most beautiful, perfect person, and under the way they're looking at you, this is how Uranus is working through your life. They allow you to see yourself from a different way. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say on that. Plenty to say, but I wanted to mention that. It can be really profound shifts, and we may not realize it was like that old wound of I don't feel good about myself or whatever, that is at the root of all of our well-being. And when you get to the root of things, Earth, Taurus, get to the root of it, then you allow Uranus to have the influence over you. Actually, Uranus just makes it happen whether you want it to or not. It's going to play out whether you fight it or not, so you might as well just work with it. So let's get started. And if something else pops, hi Kimberly, another Kimberly. If you'd like a card, let me know. I do herbal tarot, and then I also do the animal card. So let me know. And I'm going to take a sip of water here before I open sacred space. And in honor of Taurus, this lovely earth energy, we're going to really ground ourselves. Let's take some deep breaths. Especially on a Monday night where maybe a lot of us are transitioning after a long day, being out in the world. So it's really important to take the time to come into your own body and take a moment to not be anything other than open space. So in this space, of course, I'm going to open up sacred space, and I'm going to invite in the winds of the east. We thank you, Brother Eagle, for coming to us, the spring of our lifetime. We thank you for showing us the bird's eye view, the winds of the east. This is the place where the rising sun comes from, fire energy, the beginning, the alpha and the omega. This is the void. This is basically where thoughts become things, the space of black matter. We thank you for giving us that generative energy. Thank you so much, Brother Eagle. And it's the morning of our lifetimes. And now we welcome in the winds of the south, earth energy, perfect for Taurus. This summertime of our life. Brother Snake, you are with us to show us humbly how to move closely to the ground and be close to Mother Earth, and to shed old skin so that we may be completely in the moment, in the summertime, in the noontime of our life. We thank you so much for this ability. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then we now go to the winds of the west. We invite you in, and we ask that you give us the tenacity of Brother Jaguar, who shows us how to keep going through rites of passage, through big shifts like Uranus and Taurus, through these moments where suddenly, wow, I once was like this, and now I am like this, and I will never be the same again. We thank you for the ability to harvest all of the lessons of our lives during the fall of our lifetime. This is water energy. This is our emotions. This is the deep, murky waters of the dark night of the soul. We thank you, Brother Jaguar, for showing us how to move through this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then the winds of the north, spirit of our ancestors, spirit of hummingbird, and one of my animal totems, the elk, for their endurance. this is the winter of our lifetime. If you've made it to the winter of your lifetime, aging is a privilege. And we thank you so much for the winter of our lifetime, because all of the spirit of our ancestors have taught us all the things we needed to know in this lifetime. And we're learning from them, and we're taking them within. And we thank you so much for this energy, this air energy, this ability to keep going. And we thank you so much. And now we thank Mother Earth, as always. Great Earth Mother, thank you so much for caring for us, cradling us in your womb, and sustaining us. No matter how much we abuse you, you have such a love for us. Thank you so much for being here and giving us this grounding power. I believe so much that you can overcome any of our abuse, because you basically are so ever powerful. We thank you so much, and I honor you so much for being here, for us being here with you. And to Father Sky, and to our star nations, and the benevolent beings out there in the universe that are, I think, kindly watching over us and making sure that we take care of ourselves and don't do stupid things to ourselves and to the universe. So we thank those wonderful star nations. And some might be convinced that we've come from the stars. We're star seeds. So thank you so much. And of course, Grandmother Moon and Grandfather Sun. And I invite in my Archangel Michael, my great protector. Thank you for making sure only that which is of the light comes into this space. And to Archangel Zadkiel, one of my spirit guides, it helps me with forgiveness and learning the student, learning the lessons I need to know. So if you have a spirit guide that you would like to invite in, let us know. And okay, so I'm going to check the messages here. Okay, so we've got Chris wanted an animal card, Rusty wanted an animal card, and Kimberly, let me know which kind of card you'd like. All right, I'm gonna get started here with the weekly one, even though I kind of had a feel for just a lot of when it's new moon energy, we're sort of waning, right? Right now we're waning, which means we're just it's pretty much like the tide pulling out, right? When the full moon's coming in, it brings the tide in, makes it really, really big, and now we're letting it go out. And oh, Nan, love to see you. Thank you so much for being here. You'd like an animal card, perfect, Nancy. So we're in this waning energy, and again it's that kind of that residual energy of just really letting go of all the dark stuff. Let it come up to the surface, let it out, and then let this beautiful new moon in Taurus coming up let you be something new. All right, so let me shuffle this card. Sure. So the first one, you'd like, what kind of card for you, Kimberly? I know for your son, he wants an animal one. For Jax? Okay, perfect. If not, I'll pull you both an animal card. Okay. And again, like birds, I've been seeing a lot of pigeons and doves, and I didn't get a chance to really look up pigeons and doves, but I really think, to me, they represent that which we sort of take for granted that's always there, and to really just understand and love and appreciate the mundane. So I'm going to pull the cards here for this week. Using my left hand of receiving divine information, left side of your body, the intuitive nature, the feminine, which we all have feminine and masculine. One of these really wanted to pop out, so I'm going to pull it out. I already pulled for, well, for today and tomorrow, really. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then the overall energy for the week. And they're feisty. They want to move around today. And that's some of that Uranus energy coming up. It's like, nope, you will notice. You will take note here. Even if you want to ignore me, you will take note. And you will have to make some changes and do some things. We will make it happen. So, Six of Pentacles. And of course, it's very earthy for earth energy. I'll show you the card here. This is for basically today and tomorrow. And the herb, if you can't see it, is hops. Hops, most of you, if you've ever homebrewed or like breweries, hops are what the main thing we put into beer. It has a lot of B vitamins, and they have a very bitter taste. The man sitting on the earth is holding a bag full of prosperity, money, talents, information, compassion, or energy. This prosperity is being shared between himself and another. There's that need to connect through relationship. For whatever one gives will be received in kind. Again, that feeling of just being aware of how you're affecting other people. The city in the background is the society within which he works and symbolizes the cooperation by individuals that is needed to make a caring and compassionate group. So now we've sort of worked through some of our personal demons, and this allows us to connect in a more meaningful way with the group as a whole. And to understand that even though you may feel like pulling away, the real reward is in an authentic connection with others. Through patience and perseverance, goals can be achieved, and through openness and mutual receptivity, whatever is needed will come. And of course, you know, together we can do so much more. So look for opportunities to share what you have and be open to what others want to share with you. Guard against giving and receiving in a way that is ego-oriented. When you do not feel good about the exchange, then don't make it. Giving and receiving must be from the heart to be of benefit to either party. Giving isn't necessarily like a doing kind of thing. It could be, you know, from the heart. Like, well, I'm not going to be trusting. I'm not going to forgive you. I'm not going to open up. I won't be the first one to stop being a jerk after a fight. It's that kind of giving and receiving. Giving and receiving must be from the heart to be of benefit to either party. So, like, don't do it if you're really not truly going to feel good about it. But do it with an open heart. Amazingly, when you're open-hearted, other people are open-hearted with you. Any tendencies to go to extremes with this energy must be watched for, such as giving when there's no need, like in other words, being intrusive, or I guess smothering, for lack of a better term. Thus experiencing depleted energy or resentment. Like, well, I've been cooking for you all week, but they didn't ask you to cook for them. It's that sort of thing. Because you really would like for them to cook for you. It's these sort of exchanges. Look to the heart for the answers, for there you will know that true giving, receiving comes from divine spirit. And there's some folks who it's like they draw a blank space when they think about giving from a way that's not materialistic. How can you give from the spirit? Can you show up more? Can you decide to be kind when you have the choice to be otherwise? That's the giving nature they're referring to. Hop flowers have been used in dream pillows to induce a peaceful sleep. Make a small pillowcase and stuff it with hops and so shut the open end. Other herbs such as lavender, chamomile, and mugwort may be added. Place the pillow near your head when you go to bed and have pleasant dreams. Hops will benefit one who is closed off to either giving or receiving. So if you're really suffering from like the abandonment wound and it's hard to give or it's hard to receive, this is a good way call upon hops to help you with that. Letting yourself trust. Trust is an excellent way to exercise giving and receiving. A lot of us don't allow ourselves to trust that we can receive or that someone will give to us. So there's another thing that could have a very profound shift for you when this new Uranus shifts into Taurus. Like maybe for the longest time you didn't trust that people were good and would give to you, and you always lived in a lot of disappointments. But a very important person or a very important relationship could just, you run into him at the grocery store and is 1 in a million chance you'll meet this person. It's that sort of surprise kind of energy. And to me, it's great. It's like letting divine will take over. It's that sort of energy that we're coming into. Keywords: willingness to give and receive. If you're willing to receive, if you're in receptive mode, you'll be amazed at everywhere you look tends to confirm. It's, my psychology background, it's called confirmation bias, like where everywhere you look confirms your belief in whatever it is you truly believe. So if everywhere you're looking confirms receptivity, then that means you're truly open. So giving from the heart and not the ego, that's really important. Creating greater harmony in groups, cooperative attitude. I open myself to the abundance of the universe. I am a channel for her expression. So really just finding ways to be open-hearted this week. That's just a great way to start. If you have an opportunity not to be judgmental, don't be judgmental. Just little ways. Let somebody go in front of you on the highway, because trust me, then that space will open up to you later on. And it's just not because you gave to receive. It's just the way the universe works. And this is unique because for the first time ever, how ironic, but I had an upside down card. And this is for Wednesday, Thursday. And for those of you who can't read upside down, it's actually the suspended person. So had it been right side up, it would have been upside down. I think this is telling us expect the unexpected in the middle of the week. Let's look into this. And this is the major arcana, so there's something on a deeper level for you is going to shift midweek. And let's talk about the significance of this being upside down when that person was actually upside down when he was right side up. This ought to be very interesting. Okay. A young person hangs upside down in the divine ocean of life. Her or his head and arms form the equilateral triangle known as the water triangle. Her or his usual fiery and exuberant nature in life has been reversed, and she is still. The hands which govern the outside world are behind the back. For now, she is working on the inner faculties. The pants are blue, signifying the quieting of the sexual procreative impulses, or those impulses that stimulate further endeavors and creations involving the outside world. The green jacket represents healing and rejuvenation within. The suspended person, ruled by Neptune, is learning the art of self-realization and inner quietude. The big message that I'm getting here is everything that you thought you knew is going to change in some way. You'll have some really powerful shift in regards to self-identity. It may hit you like a ton of bricks. So, here you are, you thought you got it all figured out, and nope. So the suspended person ruled by Neptune is learning the art of self-realization and inner quietude in order to go beyond the illusion that we as individuals are the managers of the universe. There's that divine will. It's like you can do all of the introspective work that you want, and then spirit comes over and completely shifts whatever it was you thought you were doing. But in the end, it's going to work out for you. She has a sense of the divine wisdom and essence that guides and unites all the cosmos, from molecules to plants, animals, stars, and planets. This concept cannot be grasped in the mind. Yeah, it's definitely in that dropping down into the body, into that sacred space, and feeling that shift. It's just a knowingness. Again, that one essence, the living consciousness of the universe. When you're in relationship with others, you realize we're all one, and that's where the healing takes place. The suspended person is on a vision quest from which she is gaining the vision to open up to the unity of the cosmos. Usual thinking must be reversed. Again, we're in Taurus, which is really one of the most fixed signs, and many people rely on Taurus for its dependability. And this is one of those, like, something that was a permanent fixture, that was a big part of who you are and your identity, is going to go away. But not for, it's not going to have the effect you think it's going to have. It'll have the effect that Spirit wants it to have on you. So this involves moving from escapism to inspiration. And it could be for a very good thing. Some example, I don't know, I'm feeling called to talk about health for some reason. An example, like, God forbid, someone really close to you dies of, like, a heart attack, and it may cause you to be like, wow, I really need to get my own health under order. And then your whole identity with who you're, maybe you thought of yourself as a fat person, and now you're like, now I'm an athlete. It's that, like, bang, surprise, but somehow for your greater good and a shift in your identity, you know, because, you know, I can completely relate to this. After I gain a certain amount of weight, I stopped feeling like a certain type of person, like an attractive person. And so I identify a different way with, like, who I am. And it's this shift, this kind of shift. I hope I'm not really being that clear about it, but it's those kind of shifts. This involves moving from escapism to inspiration. She sees her place in the ever-changing ocean of life and sees that what she does in his or her small realm of life is part of the flow and motion of the great divine sea. That would be if it were here, you know, but remember I was saying, maybe you don't understand your space in the flow of things. Maybe you don't understand how you've been affecting other people. And it could be good. It could be, you know, I don't want to say negative, but, like, once you become aware of something, it may be time for change. You might have this grand epiphany, like, wow, maybe this is why things have been this way for me my whole life. She realizes that from the state of relaxation, she can be of service to her himself. If you're always in your trauma and you're always in your drama, frankly, it's hard to serve others. It's hard to be of a giving heart. It's hard to believe good things happen. So this is basically saying there's another way to be and to allow yourself to identify with that new way of being. So she is learning to trust in the wisdom of the world, that there is a conscious, wise presence in and amongst us all. So the sea vegetable kelp is nourishing, cleansing, and decongesting to the system. If you can get some sea kelp, that would be really good for you. When kelp is ingested, it pervades the whole system, just as a suspended person is realizing that the unity of the divine life force is all pervasive throughout the universe. Kelp's emollient, softening qualities will metaphorically help to soften the fixed viewpoints. That's this combination of Uranus and Taurus. You're really fixed and rigid, you know, you're really, anything that's a permanent fixture, it's helping you to soften those. Because sometimes we can be stubborn about it. A deeper feeling and harmonizing quality will be embraced in the basic living process. So I've seen kelp cooked in soups a lot, and you can take kelp tablets too. So my heart is a fountain of peace. I bathe myself in divine love. And I think this is just reminding us that what we think we want, the universe is going to turn us upside down and give us something completely different. So just kind of get ready. Get ready. Prepare for the great epiphany, basically. I need a drink too of water. So we're Mother's Day weekend coming up. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Of course, the Empress, another major arcana card. Dong Quai, Dong Ke. I don't know how exactly to say that, but Mother's Day can have different meanings for many people, and it's obviously about the feminine energy, honoring the feminine, and what greater card than the Empress. The Empress is Mother Nature herself, sitting as the queen of all earthly life. Pregnant, she embodies the fulfillment of the creative impulse in the universe. There's some real importance to take stock in what are you creating? What sort of home life are you creating? What sort of relationships are you creating? What sort of, I guess, relationship with yourself you're creating? Are you kind to yourself? Like, if you feel that you're always down on yourself and you're, you know, being hard on yourself, or I'm not the kind of girl who, that sort of talk, this is the time to honor yourself. Be open-hearted towards yourself. Because, of course, anytime we're really judgmental of others, it's because we're judging ourselves. We're judging that part that mirrors us in others. You know, again, I am not what you think I am. You are what you think I am. So behind her flows the clear stream of intuition that is the continuation of the blue gown of the High Priestess. She wears a yellow gown, which symbolizes the understanding and intelligence of nature. Another thing, get outside. Get outside, connect with Mother Earth. I'm going to turn on a light here. It's getting kind of bright. Dark and bright at the same time. But really, yeah, Mother Nature, Mother Earth, really dig into that divine feminine energy. Really just soak it up and love it. So love yourself. She wears a yellow gown, which symbolizes the understanding and intelligence of nature. The Empress's crown represents the 12 signs of the zodiac and the many expressions of life which they signify. I think also, for me, as I mentioned, the zodiac is more about patterns of energy in life, and how we're all one, and how we're basically weaving a tapestry here, and to pay attention to how, you know, we're being affected and how we're affecting others. So ruled by Venus, the planet of beauty, harmony, and quality, and love, the Empress seeks pleasure and the fulfillment of her heart's desires. Her law is the law of love. She asks to feel the co-creatorship with the divine powers around and within us. So again, like, let go of some ego and let spirit sort of give you an idea of what's possible for you. So she sees no difference between spirit and nature, for she knows that the physical world celebrates the infinite divine spirit. Again, I'm really getting to feel like, get outside, like it could do you a world of good to walk in the woods. For me, I always feel great when I get nature therapy. Dong Quai is considered an energy builder for the yin, or feminine energy, creative energy. Think of womb energy, womb space. Men can have womb space as well, and that divine feminine. Anything that's like intuitive knowingness and that's coming from within, that's feminine energy. It will increase fertility for new inspirations to grow and give the energy to bring to fruition the creations. In other words, one becomes pregnant with ideas. So you may be full of new ideas for your life, especially if you have this grand epiphany midweek. Things that maybe were not possible for you. Another example's come to me, like, I never thought I could buy a house. I wouldn't have the money to buy a house, but suddenly it becomes possible. Little things coming up, like you look at yourself as a spender, but now you think you might be a saver. It's stuff like that that make you getting a house more feasible. You finally believe it's more feasible for you to get a house. Things like that. I bring forth my creations with joy. I love and nurture them to fruition. So whatever belief you're having it. If you're not paying attention to what belief you're having, you're still having it over and over and over again. So if you're going to say an affirmation, why not let it be a positive one, right? So, and then for the energy of the week. Again, this is perfect. Lots of earth energy. Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. The root power of earth, whole grains. A hand emerging from the clouds lovingly holds the pentacle, the earth element. A pathway leads through the arch, which is built with a system of perfect balances and is profoundly strong. There's that Taurus energy, that just a permanent fixture, just solid earth. The path is to live, and by the way, that volcano erupting in Hawaii is an example of Uranus coming into earth energy. It's like kapow out of nowhere. The last time we had Uranus come into Taurus, I think we had like a uranium meltdown, I think, too, in like Japan. Lots of weather patterns getting crazy. So, and we're affected by it too. We're living beings. So the path to living in balance with nature and with the inner self is open to whoever wants to follow it. We must live our truths, as the Native Americans put it, walk our talk, and be cognizant beings right here on the earth. We must seek a balance with our families, our actions, our work, our food, our bodies, and our words. We must nurture ourselves and accept the nurturing that is available to us on all levels of body, mind, and spirit, and reevaluating and letting go of any non-supportive situations or habits. Again, like spending when you know now you'd rather save money because you have a very clear vision for what you want. And we may notice that feelings of heaviness and spiritual lassitude will begin to be released. So all that dark kind of energy from the moon in Scorpio is going to let go. It's going to be dissipating, that waning energy. One's desires should not be ignored, nor should one become a slave to them. Work at weeding out desires that are empty and unsubstantial. I can't convey the importance of closing open loops. What I mean by that is you may have these energetic open loops. And what I mean by that is it's like thoughts you keep having over and over again that have no closure, situations that are just hanging on and you're not letting them go. Another example, like maybe you had a negative interaction with somebody during the day and you can't let it go and it's hanging on. Close it off. Literally do like intentional tying of and visualizing tying an energetic knot and closing that off. I like to meditate and see if I can sense like where my spirit's gone. Do I have cords of energy? Like Carolyn Mace would talk about, where did your spirit go? What mission did you send your spirit on? Is your spirit still stuck on being pissed off at your father that he left you when you're 7 months old? Is your spirit pissed at your mom because she didn't do XYZ, or your partner or something? Where in your body are these cords going to? And you get to unplug them and you get to tie the loop off. You get to close them. It could be something as simple as, I've been worried all day about trying to remember to pay a certain bill. Pay the bill and close the loop. But that energy kept going. It was leaking because you had that open loop. So I do that when I'm feeling really frazzled, when I'm feeling really like I don't know where my energy's going. It's like almost like a power strip that has too many things plugged into it, and you don't even know why you have half those things plugged in, or it's draining you and you don't need it to drain you anymore. You're just giving it away because it's plugged in somewhere that you don't need it to be plugged into anymore. So just as nature throws her seeds out with desires to expand and flourish, we too must be willing to plant our visions, nurture them, and watch them flourish. When you pay attention to where you're leaking energy, you will have a lot more available generative energy. And when you pay attention to getting quiet and still and creating space, that holding space container becomes stronger to hold bigger visions. So think about, visualize like a big pot, like a potting plant, and imagine that the more you practice holding space and that lovely dirt and soil which is figuratively your generative womb energy, you can strengthen that pot and make it bigger and stronger by just your intentions and how many times you visualize this pot. Or I call this a sacred container. You can symbolize this by getting yourself like a big bowl, like I had my big bowl up right here. I don't know if you can see that. That's a physical representation of my energetic sacred container. Another way, especially during Taurus Earth energy, go play in the dirt. Sand paintings. The title is really misrepresenting because I don't have sand and I don't paint with them, but they're basically it's a shamanic tool where you go out into the dirt and you can form some sacred space on the earth, and you go pick some rocks or other symbols, twigs, whatever, and they represent the energy, or you at this time. You could pick a rock and say, this is me right now, and intuitively you place it somewhere in your sacred space, your sand painting, and you then say, okay, well, this other rock represents the new house I want to buy, and you put it somewhere in the circle as well, and you kind of set it and leave it, or you blow your intentions into the sacred space, and you then come back and tend to this space again. This is a great way to close another loop too. Give it up to Mother Nature. You give your this idea, like buying a new house or not having the money to buy the new house is weighing on you, so you blow that thought into the rock, and you put that also into the sand painting, and you ask Mother Earth to absorb that, and you close that loop, and you know that Mother Nature's taking care of that, and you don't need to worry about it anymore. These are just some ways to use some earth energy during this really like earth-friendly time to move some energy and to also set intentions and sacred space. So, all right, so and you may, your neighbors may be like, what is she doing out there? Gardening, literally the act of planting seeds, can have a really soothing feeling. Okay, that concludes the group reading. And I want to make sure I've got everybody down. I've got one for Kimberly Brenner, an herbal card, and then an animal card for both Chris and Rusty, and then an animal card for Kimberly Richardson and her son Jax, and then Nancy would like an animal card. So I'm going to pull the one herbal card from the herbal deck while I have it out for Kimberly Brenner. Thank you, Spirit, for really letting me know what Kimberly needs to know right now. Okay. Ooh, the Star. I haven't pulled this card in a long time. This is good. It seems like an auspicious omen. Skullcap is the herb, and it's a major arcana card. Some big changes coming for you. Skullcap, I'm not real familiar with that, but it calms the mind and heart and prepares the way to meditation. So, helping you ground yourself. The Star, ruled by Aquarius, is the key of meditation and hope. The woman's blue garment symbolizes receptivity and a reflection and intuition. Her red undergarment and skirt symbolize her vitality and will, which is being guided by her inner wisdom. You're really being called to really trust in your own inner knowingness, and just know that like the work that you're doing is really important. And okay, so the symbolism is further exemplified by her sitting on the earth, the objective world. Whatever you perceived or had visualized for you is now coming into fruition. It's earth energy. It's like in the here and now. Like it's no longer a thought. It's no longer generative energy. It's not the egg or the sperm. It's the baby coming out into a whole nother entity. The physical manifestation of what you have been dreaming of is coming into being for you. So this symbolism is further exemplified by her sitting on the earth, the objective world, while touching into the flowing waters of the inner life that reveals the answers from divine spirit. You really have mastered the knack of having one foot in the spirit world, one foot into the earth world, and that's really the art of shamanism, really, walking in two worlds. The lightning bolt that destroyed and humbled the self in it looks like 10, 15, 16, that card, has inspired inner seeking. The Tower is now the star of inspiration found within our hearts. So all that work, all that inner introspection and coming to know yourself, it's all coming to fruition now. Like you're kind of like your purpose is here. It is a visitation from spirit showing the way to understanding the life power and understanding that is an eternal meditation. To meditate with plants and trees can be very powerful. Again, we're getting a lot of that earth energy. This type of meditation can show us the gifts and wisdom that are always being communicated to us by our plant brothers and sisters if we but open ourselves to their paths or their ways. I know it sounds like kind of woo-woo, but to me, when I'm driving along, I can, when I see the breeze in the trees, it's like I kind of stop and I take note, and each tree almost has like a message for me. It's like they're speaking to me, and it's that language that this is asking you to speak from. Really connect to your intuitive divine knowledge and bring that out to other people. Talk about it. Don't just be like, driving along and seeing the trees and not expressing to other people, hey, it's important to really tune in to the language of trees, or that's just an example. But whatever it's in your heart that you really feel like it's now time to tell people about it. Many of our inspirations may come to us as visions, ideas, goals, dreams, or imaginings, but we must quiet the outward searching mind in order to receive the inner messages. Through meditation, we can create a greater peace and stability that will open many doors for us. Again, that's that sacred container. How much space can you hold, and how much stillness can you hold? Skull cap relaxes tensions and induces calmness and counteracts sleeplessness. It's also good for easing menstrual tensions, strengthens the brain, and is useful in the treatment of epilepsy and seizures. And it also is great for easing and breaking addictions associated with drug and alcohol. With peace and calmness in my heart, I am open to the inspirations that flow within me. So when you calm your drama and your trauma, you can be open to divine stillness and really getting some amazing knowledge from that. So that's for Kimberly B. And now I'm going to open the animal cards. And I'm going to pull 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards, 5 animal cards. And we thank our beautiful animal guides for their medicine, for teaching us so many things. And another drink of water. All right. Thank you to Spirit and our animal guides for giving us your wisdom, telling us what we need to know this week. Okay, card from Chris, Dusty, Kimberly R, Jax, and Nancy. All right. So this one is for Chris. So as a wolf, I'm partial to furry four-legged creatures. But you've drawn the coyote. Coyote, you devil, you tricked me once more. Must I sit and ponder what you did it for? Coyote is known to be the trickster, which, by the way, is perfect because you're a Taurus, and Uranus is known for its trickster energy. I think that this is saying that you are just very much in tune with the energy that's going to be happening coming up. So just be prepared for, don't get too fixated on the way things are, and you'll flow a lot better. There are thousands of myths and stories about Coyote, the great trickster. Many native cultures called Coyote the medicine dog. If you've pulled this card, you can be sure that some kind of medicine is on its way, and it may or may not be to your liking. Understand too, there's so much to say about blessings in disguise. You may be like, oh, I wanted to get that job, but you didn't get that job, and it turned out that company went out of business like 6 months later. So like, it's that sort of stuff. It may not show up immediately to your liking, but just trust that there's some divine intervention going on there. Whatever the medicine is, good or bad, you can be sure it will make you laugh, maybe even painfully. You can be sure that Coyote will teach you a lesson about yourself. Coyote has many magical powers, but they do not always work in his favor. His own trickery fools him. He is the master trickster, who tricks himself. No one is more astonished than Coyote at the outcome of his own tricks. He falls into his own trap, and yet he somehow manages to survive. He may be banged and bruised by experience, but he soon goes on his way to even greater error, forgetting to learn from his mistakes. He may have lost the battle, but he is never beaten. Coyote is sacred. In the folly of his acts, we see our own foolishness. There's completely something sacred and humble about becoming completely aware of our own shortcomings. As Coyote moves from one disaster to the next, he refines the art of self-sabotage to sheer perfection. No one can blindly do themselves or others in with more grace and ease than this holy trickster. Coyote takes himself so seriously at times that he cannot see the obvious. For example, the steamroller that is about to run over him. That is why, when it hits him, he still cannot believe it. It's telling you be mindful. Something that may hit you by a ton of bricks. Denial is the thing that allowed you to not see it coming. So that's what they mean. Like you've maybe been fooling yourself about some stuff that you need to pay attention to. But when you pay attention to it, or you're fooling yourself, it's all for your divine benefit in the end. You come in terms with certain things is going to all work out in the end. That is why when it hits him, he still cannot believe it. Was that really a steamroller? I better go look, he says, and he is run over once more. Contained within trickster medicine is the humor of the ages. Of course, like roll with the punches, not take yourself too seriously. The cosmic joke is not just on ourselves, but on everyone else, if they are following Coyote or have strong Coyote medicine. Someone like this may be able to convince others that a skunk smells like roses, but that fact remains that it is still a skunk. Ooh. Snooze time is over if you have pulled the Coyote medicine card. This week, so you're going to get your grand epiphanies, and snooze time will be over. Watch out. Your glass house may crash to the ground at any moment. All your self-mirrors may shatter. The divine trickster is dogging you, and you may trip. Coyote scratches under his arm. He does a crazy dance. He catches his tail on fire playing with matches. He jumps in the fish pond to save himself and nearly drowns. This is just that frustrating kind of energy. Coyote seduces a concrete statue. Coyote thinks he has found a bone, but it is a rattlesnake. Everyone watches the comedic scene. Coyote is you, me, booby traps, jet airplanes with toilets that don't work, blind dates, and all the humorous and whimsical things we encounter along life's way. Get ready for more of the laughs, lots more. Go immediately beneath the surface of your experiences. Ask yourself what you are really doing and why. Is Coyote your medicine? Are you playing jokes on yourself? Are you trying to fool an adversary? Is someone tricking you? Do you want to give the office geek the phone number of the beautiful new secretary? Or do you want to pull a prank on your best friend? When was the last time you did something just because it was crazy and fun? On the other hand, you may not be conscious of your own pathway of foolishness. You may have conned yourself. This is really just that energy of being aware of your effect on others. But listen, Coyote, you're balled up in your own machinations. You have created a befuddling, bewildering, confounding trick. Pick up the juggler eyes from the ground and put them back in their sockets. See through the genius of your acts of self-sabotage. Find it amusing and laugh, trickster, laugh. If you can't laugh at yourself and your crazy antics, you have lost the game. Coyote always comes calling when things get too serious. So definitely remember some humor, especially in the hard things. The medicine is in laughter and joking so that new viewpoints may be assumed. There's really a lot of that energy of having a new viewpoint. If you have Coyote medicine, you may use it to make a stuffy old fogey lighten up, to add cheer to a party, or to break a death grip conversation with ease. Look at the positive side of sabotaging nosy questions about your personal life. Have fun telling some gossiper that you just returned from Saint-Tropez in your new Learjet. That's interesting. Yeah, Coyote's basically saying don't take yourself too seriously because you're going to trip and fall on your face many times, and that's just part of it. and to let yourself have a new viewpoint. Because by not allowing yourself to come to terms with the new way of being, fooling yourself could create some unnecessary self-sabotaging difficulties. So there you have the coyote. That was for Chris. And now I'm going to do Rusty. Buffalo. Prayer and abundance. Buffalo, you bring us the gifts of life. Hear our prayers, smoke rising like phoenix. We are reborn within the sacred words. In the Lakota tradition, it was the white buffalo calf woman who brought the sacred pipe to the people and taught them to pray. The bowl of the pipe was the receptacle that held tobacco and herb with male and female medicine. The stem of the pipe represented the male entering the female and seeding life. In the coming together of male and female, the connection to the divine energy of the Great Spirit was made. As the pipe was loaded with tobacco, every family in nature was asked to enter into the pipe and share its medicine as prayer and praise to the heavens. The smoke was considered to be visual prayer and was sacred and cleansing. All animals are sacred, but in many traditions, white buffalo is the most sacred. The appearance of white buffalo is a sign that prayers are being heard, that the sacred pipe is being honored, and that the promises of prophecy are being fulfilled. White buffalo signals a time of abundance and plenty. So for you, the tides are being turned. The tides are being turned. Buffalo was the major source of sustenance for the Plains Indians. It gave meat for food, hides for clothing, warm and soft buffalo robes for long winters, and hoods for glue. The medicine of buffalo is prayer, gratitude, and praise for that which has been received. So really stay in a state of gratitude and just see what shows up. It's just amazing when you're in receptive mode what you allow yourself to receive. Buffalo medicine is also knowing that abundance is present when all relations are honored as sacred and when gratitude is expressed to every living part of creation. Because of its desire to give the gifts that its body provided and be willing because of its willingness to be used on earth for the highest good before entering the hunting grounds of spirit, buffalo did not readily stampede and run from hunters. To use buffalo medicine is to smoke the pipe in a sacred manner and to give praise for the richness of life to be shared. So with all races, all creatures, all nations, and all life, it means smoking for others so that their needs are met, praying for the good of all things in harmony, and accepting the great mystery as part of that harmony. Again, it's talking about relations with others. You're going to give and receive through your relationship with others. If you've drawn the buffalo card, you may be asked to use your energy in prayer. You may also be called upon to be an instrument of someone else's answer to a prayer. So think about that, your effect on others. This could portend a time of recognizing the sacredness. You know, something popped in here. You may also be called upon to be an instrument of someone else's answer to a prayer. I got this image of like you're supposed to be like you arriving somewhere in a new situation is the answer to someone else's prayer. Like they've been just understand like or believe that they've been waiting for you and your perfect gifts for their situation for a while. And so if you go openly with that energy, like somebody is waiting for me to show up, put those feelers out there, and that situation is going to match up for you. So this could portend a time of recognizing the sacredness of every walk of life, albeit different from your own. To honor another's pathway, even if it brings you sadness, is a part of the message that Buffalo brings. This may be a time of reconnection to the meaning of life and the value of peace. Most assuredly, this time will bring serenity amidst chaos if you pray in earnest for enlightenment and the power of calmness and give praise for the gifts you already have. Buffalo medicine is a sign that you achieve nothing without the aid of the Great Spirit. Again, there's that divine will portion of it. And then you must be humble enough to ask for that assistance and then be grateful for what you receive. Sustain that gratitude and then believe that other people will be grateful for you. That's important. Feeling my throat here. Another drink. And now this one, next card is for Kimberly Richardson. Ooh! The mighty wolf. Lots of furry animals. Wolf, of course, is one of my animal totems. And I adopted Wolf. Wolf is my ex-husband's name. But I've always had an affinity for wolves. And I used to dream about them all the time. And then somehow I married one. So wolf medicine, this is how wolf or animal medicine shows up in your life. Something about the essence of wolf was important, apparently. And now for Kimberly Richardson. Let's hear about wolf medicine. Wolf, teacher, pathfinder, moon dog of my soul, howling, singing, teaching how to know. When wolf shows up, it's showing you a new way of being. Oh, you're welcome, Chris. And yeah, it was a crazy card, and I'm glad that Rusty enjoyed his card. Wolf is the pathfinder, the forerunner of new ideas, who returns to the clan to teach and share medicine. When you pull wolf medicine, you're starting to become, I don't want to say an expert, but an authority in what you do and know, and to do it with integrity. Wolf takes one mate for life and is loyal like dog. If you were to keep company with wolves, you would find an enormous sense of family within the pack, as well as a strong individualistic urge. These qualities make wolf very much like the human race. As humans, we also have an ability to be part of society and yet still embody our individual dreams and ideas. In the great star nation, wolf is represented by the dog star Sirius, which legend tells us was the original home of our teachers in ancient times. Sirius was thought to be the home of the gods by the ancient Egyptians and is still considered so by the Dogon tribe in Africa. It stands to reason that Native American peoples would formulate this same connection and adopt wolf people as the clan of teachers. So the senses of wolf are very keen, and the moon is its power ally. The moon is the symbol for psychic energy, or the unconscious that holds the secrets of knowledge and wisdom. Baying at the moon may be an indication of wolf's desire to connect with new ideas, which are just below the surface of consciousness. Wolf medicine empowers the teacher within us all to come forth and aid the children of Earth in understanding the great mystery in life. If you've drawn Wolf's card, you may be able to share your personal medicine with others. So all the stuff that you're going through or have learned in this lifetime, you've gathered it all up and you're teaching about it now. That's what it's perfect for me for wolf medicine. But that's what it's saying here, that your intuitive side may also have an answer or teaching for your personal use at this time. So, and I know that sounds very perfect for you. As you feel wolf coming alive within you, you may wish to share your knowledge by writing or lecturing on information that will help others better understand their uniqueness or path in life. It is in the sharing of great truths that the consciousness of humanity will attain new heights. Perfect, right? Wolf could also be telling you to seek out lonely places that will allow you to see your teacher within. And during this time, you know, the new moon in Taurus, it's really great to go within, you know, stay connected to Earth and to understand like they were saying, aloneness, in the aloneness of a power place devoid of other humans, you may find the true you. And so you can heal this identity with, you know, being alone so much. Look for teachings no matter where you are. Wolf would not come to you unless you requested the appearance of the tribe's greatest teacher. So when the student is ready, the master appears. So that's for you. And that's okay, your phone died, but you came on right in time to get your card. So, and then the next card here is for your son, Jax. Oh, I haven't drawn this one in a while. A squirrel. All about gathering. Squirrel, you gathered nuts by the score, exactly predicting if you'll need more. Teach me to take no more than I need, trusting great mystery to harvest the seed. Squirrel teaches you to plan ahead for the winter when the trees are bare and the nuts have long since disappeared. Squirrel medicine can come in many forms, as this furry creature is very diverse in nature. The erratic behavior of squirrel has bested many a forlorn hunter, and it thus stands to reason that there are benefits to being able to circle a branch at lightning speed. This erratic behavior of squirrel can also get nerve-wracking if you're dealing with persons who have squirrel medicine. Trying to calm them down enough to accomplish something may drive you nuts, which is why we say it drives us nuts. The gathering power of squirrel medicine is a great gift. It teaches you how to gather and store your energy for times of need. So I'm not sure, I'm thinking that your son is needing to learn how to preserve his own energy. It teaches you to reserve something for future use, whether it be a judgment, an opinion, a savings account, candles, or extra food. When I was talking earlier, like what kind of identity does he have? Is he, especially when talking about personal resources, does he waste his energy on friends or family or situations or projects that aren't serving him? This is a good time to look into that. To put in a nutshell, squirrel is the Boy Scout of the animal kingdom, always prepared. In today's world of changing times and fortunes, it is the wise person who prepares for the future. Our prophecies have all spoken. Something else came up. It's a good time to teach him about responsibility. In today's world of changing times and fortunes, it is the wise person who prepares for the future. Our prophecies have all spoken of the end of the millennium and the changes to come, especially during this, new shift in Uranus and Taurus, and the age of Aquarius. Profound shifts in our identity are going to happen, and if you're a person who has not in the past, for your son, if your son is not a person in the past who saw himself in a certain way, it's now time to do major shifts to start thinking about his future. Where is he going to go to school? What is he planning for? If he's not getting good grades now, he might need to, if he wants to go to, I don't know why some future schools are coming up. It's time to prepare for that. Like, what does he really want to do? And is what he's doing now going to get him where he wants to go? Its message is to be prepared, but not to go nuts with it. And maybe, I don't know if he does a lot of extracurricular activities, but he may need to calm that down and really just decide that only on a few things that are really important to him. Love yourself enough to gather the goods that will meet your needs in times of scarcity, even if that time never comes. If squirrel is scurried into your cards today, it may be that you are being told to honor your future by readying yourself for change. The message could be to lighten your load if you have gathered too many things that do not serve you. These things can include thoughts, worries, pressures, stresses, or gadgets that have been broken for you. Again, using that closing open loops, doing the sand painting to move some of that too much things, too much energy, too many thoughts, worries, pressures, stresses. Let them go. They don't need to bother you anymore. In understanding the balance involved in gathering, you need to look at the idea of circulating the stock of what you gathered. So might be time to get rid of some old stuff first before you gather up some new. It might be kind of an uncomfortable time letting go of some old friends, letting go of old habits, things that will pave the way for a new future, a new you, a new way of being, new habits. Call the nearest thrift store and give the gadgets to someone who can benefit from them. If something no longer grows corn for you, then it's time to let it go. Squirrel has another lesson which can aid you if you observe what is obvious, and which can prepare you for anything. It has to do with the safe place in which you put your gatherings. This safe place is an untroubled heart and mind. Again, that sacred container. It's so important to teach our kids this life skills of learning how to let go of unwanted emotions, energies. This, more than anything, is, I think, the greatest thing we can teach our kids: how to regulate their moods, their energy, how to overcome disappointment, things like that. Process big change. This safe place is an untroubled heart and mind, and that which is gathered to put in this place is wisdom and caring. The energies gathered will set your mind and heart free so that you will know that all will be taken care of in its own time. Apply this to your fears about the future and they will vanish. So that was for Jax. And last but not least, we have the badger for Miss Nancy. Oh, I haven't drawn the badger in a while. The badger, if you know anything about it, when people say, "Quit badgering me," there's a reason for that. Badger likes to badger. It's very aggressive and it's very tenacious, and it goes and goes and goes until it reaches its goal, and it's prone to aggressiveness. So badger, 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 until you reach your goal. Know the inner power that lives in your soul. And as much as they look warm and fuzzy, it says badger is vicious and attacks with powerful aggression. Badger's quick to anger and quicker to pounce. The power of badger's medicine is aggressiveness and the willingness to fight for what it wants. Oh, you're so welcome, Kimberly. I'm glad that you liked your cards. Come again. Yay for being here. I'm getting the message that this badger card is more about the need to be more, like, stand up for yourself, be angry sometimes, fight for what you want. The very thought of facing badger makes other animals run for cover. If you really need, like, some help bolstering yourself, like, call on badger medicine. Like skunk, badger's reputation precedes it. Its hissing fangs will tear less aggressive opponents to shreds. Badger is the medicine of many powerful medicine women, for badger is also the keeper of the medicine roots. Badger seeds all the roots of Mother Earth's healing herbs hanging in its burrow home. These roots are a key to aggressive healing. When they say aggressive healing, like, there may be some energy that you need where it's really important for you to be succinct, direct, aggressive, and deal with it. It could be as abstract as an illness that you need to take care of, and you're like, I'm not going to be wishy-washy about this anymore. I don't want to be ill anymore. And you're really very clear and forceful about it. Like, you made a very forceful decision, like, I intend to do this, this, and this. Or it could be really a very specific situation where you know you need to be forceful. Maybe you need to go have a very difficult conversation with somebody and call on Badger Medicine to be as aggressive as you need to stand your ground. So these, and it's something very important. It's not just like gratuitous aggression and, you know, just flipping out. It's like, no, this is like a very important topic, you know, whatever, fighting for your child's well-being or something to that effect, or you have a project that you've been working on for a very long time and something's interfering with it, but it's important to you that you maintain your space and you stand your ground. So roots can ground negative energy into the earth by allowing illness to pass through a body into the ground as neutral energy. Badger Medicine people are quick to act in a crisis and they do not panic. If Badger is part of your medicine, you're quick to express your feelings and you do not care what the consequences are. Badger people oftentimes insist on carrying the ball for the touchdown. This attitude, however, does not endear them to their teammates. Again, there's that energy of be mindful of the effect you're having on others. So you may just be, you know, thinking, well, I'm taking care of something right now. But other people are like, wow, that person's really aggravating to be around. And when you go, wow, I didn't realize people were thinking that, that's where the medicine comes in. To understand the reality, the truth of it is what's divinely helpful to you. So Badger Medicine may also point to the aggressive healer who will have the courage to use unconventional means to exact a cure. Like the mother who sits for days nursing a child with high fever, Badger is willing to persist. Badger people can be vicious gossips or may exhibit a chip on the shoulder syndrome if they are out of balance. You can be sure that people with Badger Medicine will be aggressive enough to make it to the tops of their chosen fields because they do not give up. They are also the finest healers because they will use any and all methods to ensure healing and will not give up on the critically ill. A Badger person is often the boss. And of course, no, not everybody likes the boss. And in fact, you're not supposed to be liked because you have to do things that other people don't want to have the responsibility of doing. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. And the one that everyone fears. That same boss will surely keep any company afloat. Badger gets the job accomplished. Badger's certainty is a source of strength. If Badger pushed its way into your cards today, it may be telling you that you've been too meek in trying to reach some goal. So it's time to really bring it, whatever it is. Badger asks you how long you're willing to sit and wait for the world to deliver your silver spoon. In this medicine, the key is to become aggressive enough to do something about your present state of affairs. This may have something to do with that midweek upset that we're going to have. Something may come up and you're going to be like, hey, wait a second. This really is interfering and you need to stand your ground. Badger is teaching you to get angry in a creative way and say, I won't take it anymore. You must follow up by keeping your eye on the goal. Honor the healing process as you express those inner feelings. So don't just, you know, be angry with a purpose, basically. Hey, Stephanie. Be aggressive, but don't cut others to ribbons on the way. That is too much aggression. So this is really teaching the art of aggression. You call on Badger Medicine when it's really needed to bolster you, like I said. Use your anger to stop your lolling around so that your doldrums of apathy are a thing of the past. You may find yourself getting really pissed off, like, you know what, I blew off the last several months and didn't do this project, and if I'd really brought it, you know, my focus and my energy, I would have been done by now. And like, you're angry with yourself, but it's a positive anger. It's like jet fuel anger. It's lighting a fire under your butt anger. Remember that Badger may be signaling a time when you can use your healing abilities to push ahead in life. Heal yourself by aggressively removing the barriers that don't grow corn. This also could be being kind of ruthless about cutting people out of your life, that if they've angered you, that's an open loop that you, as you maintain wishy-washy boundaries with them, it wastes your energy. So you need to be aggressively, like, you know, cut them off. And heal yourself by aggressively removing berries that don't grow corn. Cut away the dead wood and use badger's aggression to seek new levels of expression. Use badger's medicine roots to keep grounded and centered in the process. So, there we have it for, oh yeah, Stephanie, which one would you like? Would you like an animal card or the herbal card? Let me know. Otherwise, that'll be the last card for tonight. Let me see. I'm just waiting for Stephanie's response here. And hopefully you all enjoyed the cards. And anyone else who's popped on. Okay, cool. An animal card. Let me see what. We'll move these over here. And I'm going to sneeze here in a minute. Excuse me. Ooh. Apparently there's something really important here for you. Okay. Ooh. I have never drawn this card before. The grouse. Oh, I'm so glad you like that, Nancy. I love how these animal cards talk about the essence of an animal in a way that we would have never thought of. Like, we think of a grouse or, you know, any of the other cards we pulled. There's some obvious ones where you're just like, okay, well, that's a powerful animal. Oh, thank you, Chris. You know, but animals like grouse, they have these qualities about them that we may or may not, if we're not being subtle enough to pay attention to or tap into. Especially for me, bird energy really is a great messenger. So grouse of the sacred spiral, leading us on to reach the everlasting heights where we can live as one. And this is for Stephanie. Okay. Grouse once flocked in abundance throughout North America, but now, even on the plains where these birds were so plentiful, there is an absence of them. So, I don't know if you can see that. So, grouse. The movement of the dance follows a spiral, which is the, oops, I'm sorry. Many Plains Indian tribes dance the grouse dance to honor these birds. The movement of the dance follows a spiral, which is the ancient symbol of birth and rebirth, the ribbed tunnel of eternal return. The sacred spiral is also one of the oldest known symbols for personal power. When you think of grouse medicine, visualize a whirlpool or even a tornado, but the sacred spiral will take you to the center. There's a real important message here that it's time for you to own your personal power. Know where your energy is going, know what sort of things you are allowing to take in. That's what I'm getting here, that tornado symbolism, the spiral. The spiral is a metaphor for personal vision and enlightenment. Many initiates on vision quests paint spirals on their bodies and believe that the great mystery will favor them with visions of power and purpose because of this symbol. The whirling dervishes of certain Sufi orders are masters of the spiral dance and can transcend to higher states of awareness through the repetition of this sacred movement. It is said that dervishes can travel to the center of the spiral and return with any magical power they choose. In the dervish state, one enters the great silence and has direct communication with the creator by spinning clockwise or counterclockwise. The dervish draws or repulses specific energy. Sufi dancing is a system which connects one with the divine source through ritual treatment of motion. This is also saying, you know, spinning in a spiral or a circular motion is a ritual treatment of motion. And that basically is like, as they're doing that movement, they're connecting to source. Another good way, something that came to me, like moving meditation, like yoga, walking. These are ways for you to move your body and also connect to divine energy at the same time. It's important for you to do that. If you have grouse medicine in your cards, undertake a meditation on the various qualities of movement within your world. Begin by visualizing the sun as one member of a huge group of stars swirling in the massive pinwheel shape of the Milky Way. Then draw yourself out of this pinwheel of light and into the spiraling of your own DNA's double helix, an arrangement similar to a rope ladder coiled like a corkscrew. Analyze the way you move through your world. How do you picture yourself in the act of locomotion? What kind of reaction do you create with the energy you send into the universe? Again, it's a theme for this week. What sort of an effect are you having on other people by what you do? What words would you use to describe the way you move through both the material and spirit worlds? In the final analysis, is your movement compatible with your greatest desires and goals? Many spiral disciplines ask that you cease all external movement in order to recognize the inner life. Grouse medicine, however, is an invitation to the dance. Like, this is telling you, no, by moving your body, you're going to get more into a meditative state. Grouse celebrates the divine source through its sacred spiral dance and offers this dance to you as a gift. You can spend a lifetime learning Grouse's lesson on how to harmonize your dance with Mother Earth's cycles and how to offer the dance as a creation of selfless beauty. Also, I'm thinking it's telling you get in tune with Mother Nature's cycles, like the moon cycle. That might be useful for you to pay attention to the moon cycles and understand how that will help you with your own energy. And that's probably one of the easiest ones because it's such a regular, with a short cycle every 28 days or so. But to get in the habit of literally physically moving your body and to pay attention to how the cycles within you and without you and the effect you have on other people. And that's really abstract. So find some really physical ways to put all that into action. Like taking walks, like doing yoga, like meditating on the full moon, making a conscious effort to pay attention to where the moon, where the moon is. You can get an app on your phone. That's really honestly the easiest way to do it. Google it. But I have an app on my phone that tells me where exactly the moon is. It's called literally the moon, and it'll show, I don't know, it's the numbers are backwards. Last quarter, we're at like 50%, meaning it's waning. So it used to be full, and now it's waning. It's going away. Oops, sorry. It's waning. It's going away. And we're literally at the halfway mark of the waning. So if you get an app, you get you can just Google it. There's like the Farmer's Almanac. There's all ways to keep track of the moon. But that's just one construct or way that you can pay attention to energy cycles. So, but that's important. Start paying attention to your energy. Start paying attention to where you're going and what you're doing and your daily habits. And that's going to be, I think that there's definitely a theme for that. Like things you never did before, maybe it's time to start doing. And that goes for all of us. So this concludes this evening's card pull. I am so grateful to you all for being here, and I thank the Creator, for allowing me to give you these beautiful messages and using me in this way, and for you all gathering here to hear about this. And I apologize for the sneezing. I'm getting a little congested now, but I'm going to tell you all, bid you good night, and I will see you next week at our regular time for once, 5 p.m. Sunday. And I hope that you all tell me how your week went. And I feel like good news is on the way. Good news is on the way. Don't fear anything that we talked about. There's a saying, it's always okay in the end. And if you're not okay, then it's not the end. So just bear that in mind. Okay. Bye for now, y'all. Love you.